Hi scientists, my name is Mia and today I am here at Seed to Feed in Elkhart and we are going to be learning how growing plants is helping our local community. Let's go investigate. Today I'm here with Keith Sarber, who is the Executive Director of Church Community Services. Keith, tell us a little bit how you got started here at Seed to Feed.
Yeah, sure. So I previously worked with United Way and we funded some programs at Church Community Services. And so I had a desire to help when the Executive Director position opened and have loved being a part of Seed to Feed. It's very natural for me. I have some farm roots, growing a garden as a young person and as a teenager and raising things from seeds and actually nurturing and watching and then harvesting that crop and getting to participate in the economy of the crop. We sold sweet corn a long time ago, way before your time, 13 years, which was called a baker's dozen. We sold for $1. And if you've bought sweet corn lately, you know it's not $1 anymore.
What brings you joy in working here?
Oh, I love seeing people, whether it's in a Seed to Feed garden or one of our other programs, reclaim their lives, understand nutrition, understand that they can grow a large amount of vegetables on a very small plot of land, and recognizing that this isn't rocket science, but there is some science involved in growing a garden and helping folks understand how easy that can be, but also how fruitful or nutritious that can be, or how they can feed their families is a great thing.
What are some of the vegetables and the things that you grow here?
Oh, this is a great question. It's almost a you name it question, and names that I don't know. So there are rhubarbs and other root vegetables. There are a whole variety of lettuces and kale, and then all of the standards, right? Carrots, potatoes, tomatoes, squashes, and gourds. There's just a huge variety of things that can grow and can grow all year round. You're in a greenhouse where we grow produce all year round.
So who's your help here? How many people would you say work here or help out here, and what do they do?
This also is a great question, and the answer is hundreds. So we are Church Community Services, very small staff. Seed to Feed, very small staff. Just 2 people facilitate the programs, the gardens and the education pieces. And then on top of that, great student interns, 3, 4, 5. Great college interns, 3, 4, 5. And hundreds of incredible volunteers. So we are really fortunate to have hundreds of really well-meaning and well-educated, and they come, they know what to do, and they go to it.
How many pantries does Seed to Feed contribute to?
This is also a great question. So we have Seed to Feed gardens across Elkhart County. Elkhart, Middlebury, Bristol, Goshen, Napanee. And those gardens in all of those areas that I just said, other than Elkhart, feed those pantries. So the Middlebury Food Pantry, the Bristol Food Pantry, a couple of different places in Goshen, and pantry in Napanee. So the incredible thing about Seed to Feed and the geography of the gardens is, although we get a lot of food, and that was the history behind Seed to Feed, was to put nutritious vegetables in the hands of our clients, pantry clients. We're now doing that across the county in the geographic footprint that those gardens are in.
So I did hear that there is a co-creator here at Seed to Feed,
Yeah.
and I was wondering if we would be able to talk with him.
Yes, his name is Dave Hosteller, and I'll go get him, and make sure you ask him about the other co-creators, the other founders of Seed to Feed.
I am here with Dave Hostetler, who is the co-founder here at Seed to Feed. Dave, I wanted to know, how did you get started here at Seed to Feed?
Actually, two friends of mine came to the food pantry in 2011, saw long lines and said we need to do something to supply more food. And the idea was to grow fresh vegetables instead of processed foods, canned foods that they typically get at pantries. So we started Seed to Feed with 2 gardens and 70 acres in cash crops, and that's how we got started 12 years ago.
Is this something that you always thought that you would do, or something that was just came into your life?
I retired in 2011. We started the garden in 2012, so it was kind of a nice transition for me. It chose me, I didn't choose it, but it's been a great 12 years doing something back for the community.
And can you tell me a little bit what the process is like from growing the seeds to getting them on the shelves?
Well, we start out usually around January. They'll start building the seeds in the different planter boxes. Takes about 2 months to get them up to this size so that we can take them to the gardens, and then we start planting around May 15th typically.
What is something that brings you joy working here?
Probably the biggest joy that I've gotten is some of the comments we get from pantry guests that come to the food pantry for food, and they don't get fresh vegetables anywhere else. So we give them fresh vegetables. It doesn't cost them a thing, and they are so thankful. And when they see and say, "I really appreciate it," makes us smile.
What types of gardens do you work with here, and about how many of them are there?
There's 24 gardens this year. We started out with 2 in 2012. We're up to 24. We've got 40 acres in cash crops. We just work wherever the gardens need help. But most of the gardens a lot of them have master gardeners that already know how to garden, so we're just supplying them with the seeds and the starts to get them going.
How many pounds of produce were you guys able to share with the community last year?
Oh, that's a good question. I know that the River Oaks garden was 17,000 pounds. I think the total was a little over 60,000 pounds of fresh vegetables.
So what advice would you like to give our scientists that are watching?
If they like the outdoors and they like the fresh air, come to a garden and learn, because you only learn by digging your hands in the dirt. And one of the nice things about it is you build really nice relationships with people. And we've done that over the 12 years that we've been doing this. You create some really nice friends because you're getting sweaty, you're getting dirty, you're digging your hands in the dirt. That's how you build a relationship. So I'd say come join a garden.
Thank you, Dave, for sharing your time with us today and for sharing what you do here at Seed to Feed. I was wondering if you would be able to maybe show us around one of the gardens that you're working on?
Love to.
So we are now at the garden here at River Oaks Community Church. Dave, would you be able to tell us a little bit about what grows in this garden here?
Well, we have 24 rows of vegetables. We grow candy onions, broccoli, cabbage, green beans, tomatoes, peppers, summer squash, winter squash, zucchini, and that's about it.
And do all of the plants here take different times to grow or the same time?
They do. Some of the early plants, what we're planting right now are what were called cold crops. That would be the broccoli, the cabbage, and the onions. Next week we will plant the rest of the seeds, which are we call them the summer vegetables, and that will be all the seeds that we put in the garden.
How do you water these plants?
Well, if you notice, we've got rows. Each row is 100 foot long, and there's a main water line that comes down the edge, and there's a little bracket on the end, and that turns the water on or off to each row. So depending on how much water we need, we can turn it on or turn it off.
That's cool. I see in the back here we have some awesome volunteers, and I was wondering how many volunteers do you normally have on a day-to-day basis?
We do it on a Monday night at 5:30. Normally there's about 15 to 20 depending on how much work needs to be done. Once the planting is done, then we go into kind of a lull for about 3 weeks. It's just maintaining the garden as far as weeds and watering. And then about mid-June we'll start getting some of the early crops.
So if we have some of our scientists that want to come and get seeds and grow their own garden, how would they be able to do that?
All they have to do is call Seed to Feed at Church Community Services. We have seeds there. We'll hand them out whatever they want. Doesn't cost them anything.
Thank you so much, Dave, for sharing what you do here at Seed to Feed, and we hope you have a great harvest.
Thank you very much, and thanks all of you for coming out today. We appreciate it.